This is going to be a treat, I think. This is a bottling from Imperial Distillery, which is now no longer with us.
No.
RIP. It was closed late 1990s, I think 1999, possibly. Imperial Distillery, what do you know about it,
Honestly,
if anything?
not very much. It's one of those things we're very lucky to get to try some unusual and often closed distilleries, but Imperial is something that you do see every now and then.
Okay.
I certainly think of Single Malts of Scotland brand having quite a lot of whiskey there, and I've had the distillery Dalmunach, which is now on the site of this closed distillery. So I've had the new stuff from the same area, but it's one of those things that you don't see it very often.
Yeah,
Not
I
many
think
people
there's
have
not
even
really
heard of it.
any, other than them being on the same site, I don't think there's any link. Like Dalmunach's not
But that's really how little.
revival
Yeah,
of
it's true.
Imperial.
It really is how little I know about Imperial is that. Yeah, it's closed and there's now a new distillery on the same location.
Yeah.
So there's still whiskey making going on in the area.
Yeah.
My experience with the liquid, it's always been it's Highland whiskey, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's always been quite a grassy, fresh, almost. I think I've only ever had it in bourbon casks as well, and only ever independent. So this should be quite interesting. Samaroli, something that I'm not that familiar with, but you've introduced me to with a couple of bottlings that we've tasted previously, and they've always been really special.
Yes, yeah. So Samaroli have a history of picking spectacular casks.
Yeah.
So they are effectively they are an independent bottler. Older examples, the casks were selected by Silvano Samaroli, who is, again, sadly no longer with us, but he had an exceptional palate and exceptional nose. So he was able to handpick the very best.
And buying casks of whiskey when nobody else was really thinking about it.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. Back in the...
You can only imagine nowadays there's such a scramble for high quality casks, never mind high quality liquid. It sounds like he kind of had not only the ability but also had that kind of opportunity to pick up some really unique
sort
stuff.
of picture him as a kid in a sweet shop,
Yeah.
just being given free reign to try whatever he wants, visit all the distilleries, and being able to pick casks up relatively.
And I suppose this will be interesting because a lot of the Imperial that we do try now is stuff that was produced or distilled a few years before it closed. So I always think when you're trying closed distilleries, a lot of the time the liquid wasn't necessarily meant to be as old as it's bottled.
That's true.
Like a lot of the time you're drinking stuff that maybe the intention was for it to be 10 years old. He purchased this in 1979, or this is certainly when this was distilled.
Yeah.
So that's way long before it closed. So this could be quite an interesting thing because it could be quite different to my perception of the Samaroli I've tasted previously. This is by far and away the oldest vintage of Samaroli I've tried before.
Yeah. I should be, as you say, I've had maybe one or two Imperials, and they've been very pleasant.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking for whiskey that's going to blow your head off and is going to be full of, really heavy characteristics, Imperial isn't for you.
Okay.
But it's always, from my experience, been balanced. It's been
I'm glad we've had the
pleasant.
same experience so far.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's a forgettable whiskey. I think it's a nice one if you're sort of in whiskey and you want to show off a bit. And you like that sort of subtle flavours. Saying your favourite distiller is Imperial gives you a lot of kudos.
I think there's one of those things we talk about people who have a kind of special things with closed distilleries, and I do get it. If you're an Islay fan, there's people that love Portellan and always have. I am of the opinion, perhaps controversially, most of these distilleries are closed for a reason, right?
Their whiskey wasn't very good.
It can't have been that good. And so it's so interesting how crazy people go about that liquid nowadays. I think it's very trendy to like stuff that you're not able to get, isn't it? But I'm looking forward to trying this.
Yeah, should be really, really nice. So we'll
Crack
it
it
open
open,
and see
absolutely.
what it's all about. So Imperial, distilled 1979, bottled in the year 2000 from Cask 9591.
Wow, okay.
So it's had a decent, how old's that, 21 years?
Yeah.
So it's...
So bottled only 2 years after it was closed. When I imagine most people, if they had stock of it, were going, okay, we'll give that another 20 years and hope that the value would go up, because it's, it's quite interesting. Yeah.
Oh, and
This is going to be a bit of a challenge for you.
What your nails
So,
like. I think we might need
I think we're going to need a bottle opener for this one.
Have you ever seen that before?
I have never seen that before. But
meant
this
to
is
be
the
like
fun
that.
of opening these old whiskies.
Who would have thought? So I think we will...
This is I've never seen this
Yeah.
before. Okay,
Let's
we'll take
find
a
a bottle
quick
opener.
cut and we'll open this.
No, we'll get our film crew to do their editing job, and
That
we'll see
sounds
how we
good.
get on.
Bizarre.
Right, bottle opener.
What the hell? I have never seen that before.
Do we want the Right, Ross, you've got more experience with wine.
Oh, no pressure.
Here we go, no pressure.
1979. What were you doing in 79, Laurie? You were...
Absolutely.
Let's try to get it in the middle. Now, for regular viewers of the Bevvy YouTube channel, it is well worth seeing that we struggle with corks. We've got a
really-
history of dodgy bottles.
I mean, it looks in good condition, at least. We've had ones before which have been like porridge, like mashed potatoes just disintegrated. So
I
you've
have-
opened them.
Well,
You've done,
this
how's-
probably
Oh,
qualifies
you're absolutely...
because this has also disintegrated as we've went into it. Okay, well, we'll keep trying.
What's the job now? It's scoop out the
We
remainder.
just need to keep going. Oh, it won't move. Technical difficulties. Opening whiskey is really hard. I'm through. Okay.
Right. Let's do it, Ross. We've butchered the cork.
Yep.
There's
So
probably going to be
really,
floaters aplenty in our dram.
yeah,
but let's...
really poor
taste it.
surgery on our behalf.
I mean, that looks alright, actually.
I mean,
They're giving me the bad one.
yeah. I mean, I imagine mine's going to be the same. I know mine is much better. Okay. Closed distillery. Been in the bottle for best part of 23, 24 years. And didn't have the top of a cork. Now that
really
was
odd.
really bizarre. I've never seen that
Anyway,
before.
let's do our best to analyse the liquid.
Smells really good.
Do you think it smells good? I think it smells... We were speaking before,
I think it's
off camera, about...
Yeah.
Was it Bruichladdich, where some people say it's
Okay.
got that like baby sick,
Okay.
cheesy feet aroma that some people can't get past.
I think it's
There's
quite
elements of that in this for me. Do you
quite
see where I'm coming
mineral
from?
to me. Quite a lot of minerality. Melon's kind of a weird note to give because you're essentially saying water, but it really is like.
I mean,
maybe
this one
a
is...
little bit of citrus as well.
Yeah, it's 45% strength. this
Okay.
one. So it's
So it's like a calculated strength as well. We think.
55% water.
Yeah. Really interesting. I don't really know what to
It's
expect
not...
from this.
I don't know. For me, it's quite a disappointing nose. Like Imperial for me has been quite interesting and quite lively and very fresh. This smells very flat.
That is unusual.
Or cork.
Yeah.
Gross.
It's quite dusty tasting.
Yeah, is that in a good way or a bad way? 'Cause obviously we are...
I really can't work it out. I quite like dusty whiskey, but it's not a compliment. This is it's a little bit kind of very old, kind of hard lime sweets.
I feel like it's not... I think you can taste that it's old. Mm-hmm. You can taste it's been in the cask for a while.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it's picked up any of the nice...
qualities.
nice
from
qualities
cask.
you often... Like, nice soft oak.
It maybe is a bit wet cardboard, a little bit oaky. That might be actually what I'm getting. It's kind of a woody. Yeah, it's quite an unusual whiskey. I suppose I didn't really know what to expect. I suppose Samaroli we still trust, but Imperial is closed. So
Yeah, maybe he did the best he could with a bad...
perhaps.
It's just, yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed, actually.
And me too. I think I was really excited for it. I think it's a great story. It's a great bottler. It's an unusual distillery, but I think we know why Imperial's closed. I think this is quite
I'm not
poor.
going to write off just yet. This
Do you
particular
think?
dram...
See, but this kind of area of time, or the late 70s, early 80s, people do talk about there being maybe not the best quality of wood around, or certainly production really suffered. 10% of the industry closed in the early 80s. Do you think that's got anything to do with this? Do you think it's...
Potentially. I think the nice thing about older whiskies is that it was much less sort of clinical than it is today. Like these days, all whiskey is good. It's all 6, 7, 8 out of 10. In those days, you'd get whiskies which were change your life. 10 out of 10. You get other whiskies which are barely drinkable, and I think that's part of the appeal because it's the whole kind of unpredictable craftsmanship element to it. So potentially this was just an underwhelming cask.
Yeah.
Maybe our horrendous experience with the cork just put us in a bad mood.
I think so. I mean, that was tough.
That was tough going. So I think, disappointed
Yeah.
on the first taste. Maybe one to revisit.
I
when we're in a
wanted
better
to
mood.
like it, but
Yeah,
I
me too.
think it's disappointing.
Yeah. Oh well. We'll give a cheers anyway to screw caps actually.
Yeah, actually.
Aren't they great? More screw caps.
Having this being the second Samaroli I've had, and I really questioned this screw cap Samaroli. It was the way forward.
Yeah.
So.
Cork's rubbish. Anyway. Yeah. Nice to share with you anyway.
Cheers.
Ross.